Judging by the orange weirdness on this map, it must be Cloud Kingdom and our players. In the bottom left-hand corner, as a red Terran, a god among men, it is LiquidTaeja, the macro Terran. And in the top right-hand corner, in the blue, we have AcerNerchio, with all that Zerg coolness and blue to match. So, of course, LiquidTaeja being one of my favorite players, and of course we have a Zerg player going up against him, which just means that this is going to be a good game, because that's just how it works out. I don't know what it is about, I just love the Zerg matchup. Zerg versus anything is just fun. It really is, but I can't really say that, because I say that about every matchup. So it's kind of easy to say, yeah, it's fantastic, because hey, I like Protoss versus Protoss, I like Protoss versus anything, I like Terran versus anything, so I can't really claim to like any one particular race versus anything more. I don't know what it is. It must be Starcraft 2. Some kind of Starcraft 2 bug or something that's infected my brain that just makes every single match just so fun to watch. Especially when you have players like LiquidTaeja going up against a Nerchio. You just know it's going to be epic. And as always, remember to post those requests. I want to know what games you want me to cast. Maybe, unlike me, you actually have a favorite matchup. In which case, I will be happy to cast that matchup for you. And if you have a favorite player or favorite players, then let me know. And I will do my best to cast that. And we have an expansion going down for AcerNerchio. It is in fact going to be expand first for both players, as we have a command center on the way now for LiquidTaeja. Sometimes when I watch LiquidTaeja, it's kind of like watching a Terran that plays a bit like a Zerg, just because of that unbelievably good macro. I don't know why. Yeah, that's what I think of. When I think of LiquidTaeja, it's the Terran that's really a Zerg in disguise, and we have a spawning pool now going down for AcerNerchio. We have a barracks on the way for LiquidTaeja, with another barracks on the way as well. And the Overlord finally making its way to LiquidTaeja's base, and he gets scared off by a lonely SCV. Those SCVs, when they get up in the morning, they growl fiercely. They will scare you away. Don't mess with an SCV. Don't mess with him. He's just had his cup of coffee. He will own you. You don't mess with an SCV. Just trust me. Whereas the rest of us, when we wake up, it's sort of like that weird gravitational shift that just makes everything so heavy. So you can't actually get out of bed. You just sort of stare at the roof going, oh, and then trying to work up the massive strength required to actually climb out of said bed. We have a queen on the way, a couple of Zerglings, so that SCV needs to hightail it out of there, or he will become a Zergling lunch. A Zergling sandwich this SCV will be, as a couple of Zerglings are actually after their SCV sandwich, just running straight after him. They want that SCV sandwich. They want to destroy him, smack him in between two slices of metal bread or something. I don't know. He's kind of like canned food because he's inside that sort of metal box or something. I don't know. Zerglings are weird and their tastes are weird. We have a couple of refineries up for LiquidTaeja. And we have a couple of Marines coming out. We also have the expansion now just landing, with a couple of lonely Marines trying to fight off a whole bunch of Nerchio's Zerglings. And those Marines are going to be losing some lives. We have a couple more Marines just popping up, trying to help out their Marine buddies. We've got 3 more Zerglings out. They might try and snipe this SCV, but in fact they're just going to run home. They've been scared off by so many Marines. We have the Queens injecting their lava. All sorts of good stuff. We have an Overlord just chilling out here over the bottomless pit that is Cloud Kingdom. And we now have an extractor on the way for AcerNerchio. Actually, we have several extractors on the way, and we have creep tumors everywhere. The creep spread has begun. We have a couple more queens out now as well. Another Overlord just making sure to chill over there, because you know what? As Zerg, you need to know when those drops are heading for you, and that's what that Overlord is for. We have a spine crawler just building over here. And we have a factory on the way for LiquidTaeja, with a couple of add-ons now on the way for LiquidTaeja as well. With yet another command center, we have a 3rd command center on the way. So the question is now, will AcerNerchio take a 3rd, or will he try some sort of 2-base all-in? Looks like he's building a Roach Warren. That might be what we see here. We have a whole bunch of LiquidTaeja's Marines just running out, Just checking out the map, maybe snipe a couple of watchtowers, make sure that those Zerglings get chased away. And we have a bunker finishing the wall off for LiquidTaeja. And we have a factory pumping out those Hellions, just to be a pain. There we go, we now have a third on the way for AcerNerchio. So it can't be a 2-base all-in unless he cancels that. We have a lonely Zergling just relaxing over there. We have a couple of Zerglings now headed towards this watchtower, I presume. And we have a couple of Hellions that are going to make their lives miserable. But even so, they've done their job because now AcerNerchio knows that there are Hellions out on the field. And he's going to do everything he can, everything in his power, to make sure that these Hellions do not harass him too much. We have a couple of Queens over here making sure that they can pound away at those Hellions, and if they try and poke up here, we've got a Spine Crawler and a Queen, as well as a whole bunch of Zerglings. It's going to be quite difficult for these Hellions to do some damage. We have a Starport just about to finish up. We have Stunpack just a little bit over halfway done. We have Layer Tech finishing, and we've got this third expansion just finishing now for Nerchio, as well as the Orbital Command upgrade finishing for LiquidTaeja's third command center. A whole bunch of Zerglings just mauling away at some Marines, which are neatly tucked away in that corner, preventing too much damage from happening to these poor Zerglings. What is wrong with my brain today? I keep saying the wrong words, but it's okay. I don't really mind, because as long as I babble senselessly, it's okay. We have Burrow now on the way for AcerNerchio, and a whole bunch of Zerglings just running around the map. They might even be able to pick on this Orbital Command, maybe get a liftoff happening. There we go. They are in fact going to go for the Orbital Command and force a liftoff, or make it burn to death. We're going to have a couple of Marines and some Hellions try and clean this out, though. It will not lift off, indeed. We have some Roaches on the way now as well. A couple of supply depots going down at LiquidTaeja's third base. And an infestation pit now on the way for AcerNerchio, so that he can let loose with the fungal mania and destroy everything with pure fungal. A couple of medevacs just might go for some kind of drop play, or maybe he's just going to go for a pure healing medevac push, and we have a fourth base now on the way for AcerNerchio. A couple of Roaches splitting up around the place. They might fight off some of these Marines. 3 Roaches going to go up against a ton of Marines and are going to lose their lives for it. Nerchio is pulling back a little bit, getting repositioned back on that creep. It looks like Taeja might go for some kind of push, might go for some kind of drop play, maybe drop over here, kill a couple of drones or something. But he might just go for a push at the front. Have a look at what Nerchio is going to do about it. What are you going to do about it, Nerchio? That's what he's saying to himself. A couple of Marines. This Queen may go down, and the Queen goes down. We have a couple of Zerglings that are going to lose their lives. There's nothing to take out these medevacs, so if he wanted to, he could just pick these up and go. Don't see any infestors nearby. It looks like he's just going to... There we go. Pick up and go. One of the medevacs is at half health, but he's still okay. He can still heal. He can still fly around quite happily. And of course we have a macro hatch on the way for Nerchio, as well as this base just about to finish up soon. We've got a whole bunch of Hellions just on the bottom side of the map. They might encounter these Roaches. There we go, just saying hi and bye. They do not want to get caught out of position by those Roaches, because Roaches and Hellions just don't get along very well. I don't know if you've noticed, but Hellions don't tend to like Roaches very much. They kind of like being alone, you know, just hanging with their friends, the drones, and roasting them away. But the Roaches, they kind of mess that whole thing up. They get in the way of the Hellions' fun. They're not very nice guys, those Roaches. They're just irritating. Poor Hellions just want to have some fun, and you're denying them that. We have 9 infestors soon going to be on the field. 10 infestors soon going to be on the field. Taeja's being very active with these Hellions, just moving them around all over the place. Oh, looks, the Overlord party over here, just all of them hanging out together, sharing comments, talking about life and the meaning of the universe, and one of those Hellions gets fungled before it manages to escape. It's a scary time to be a Hellion when you're getting fungled. A couple of Zerglings running up here. Oh, it is horrible to be a Zergling when you walk into the hold of TvZ's army and just get blasted before you can even do anything. We have a 4th base now for LiquidTaeja just landing. We have a couple of roaches and some Zerglings picking on us, a couple of supply depots. Medevac moving forward, but these are not going to do much because, hey, TvZ's entire army is there to welcome them home. One bunker goes down, and it looks like Nerchio is going to have to retreat. But he's attacking from the other side as well. We've got several attacks happening all over the place. Those poor Hellions, a couple of them are going to lose their lives, probably already have. We've got one lonely Zergling just picking away at these things. A couple of roaches going back in for another attack. A couple of lings are inside the worker line, just picking on those SCVs, eating them away. We have a whole bunch of Zerglings now at the front of TvZ's base. His natural, in fact. While a couple of Fungals are just keeping those Marines from actually being able to do anything about it. So the tanks are sieging up. They're trying to clear out these Zerglings, but one tank will go down. 2 tanks will go down. This is a very good attack by Nerchio. Just genius. Just genius, those 2-pronged attacks. He's going to burrow and try and get out of there, but the scans are quite effective at detecting those burrowed units. We have a couple of infested Terrans and some Zerglings fighting off those Marines. We've got one lonely Zergling just picking away. There we go. He has now killed himself in SCV and he's feeling proud of it. And now he's going to get sniped away eventually. There we go. He's dead. We have an Ultralisk Cavern now on the way for AcerNerchio and a whole bunch of lings all over the place in that natural, just mauling everything around that base. Just killing everything. So many Marines, so many Zerglings. What can you do? Will AcerNerchio just pretty much remax on some kind of Zergling Ultralisk army with all those upgrades just finishing up from these evolution chambers? Everything except range, so it looks like some sort of Zergling Ultra army could be extremely effective with so many of those upgrades. He will soon have 3-3 to TvZ's 2-2. And TvZ's only just started 3-3, so we're definitely going to have an upgrade out of Nerchio for quite a while at least. I have another base for Nerchio, but it looks like it might even get sniped down by the forces of TvZ! The strong forces of TvZ. A couple of Zerglings just getting picked off. One Infestor goes down. They're getting out of there. Another Infestor may go down. It looks like I don't even know what he's doing. This poor Infestor doesn't know where he's going. He just ran straight into TvZ's army and got roasted alive. That gigantic Infestor Marshmallow. He's dead. He's nothing more than a s'more now. He is no more than a s'more. We have a couple of Zerglings picking off some Hellions. 1 Hellion, 2 Hellion, 3 Hellions. 4 Hellions down. A massive fungal on pretty much everything that TvZ owns. But all those Infestors are now very, very, very dead and unable to throw out any more fungals because, hey, they're dead. Did I mention that? A couple of infested Terrans just being lobbed out on top of those tanks. One of the tanks may go down. Ooh, it's close. 18 health. Very, very close. A couple of mules have been dropped down on top of TvZ's army. They may repair the siege tank. They are indeed going to repair that siege tank. We have some Ultralisks now on the field. Not very many Marauders for TvZ. And it looks like these siege tanks might also get picked off. A couple of siege tanks go down. Another siege tank goes down. Will this last siege tank go down, or will the Marines prevent that? Nope, we have a whole bunch of Zerglings killing off those Marines. This tank is going to be left alone with nothing but his mules to back him up, and he will die for his crimes. There we go. That siege tank is now very, very dead, while everything else, called medevacs, manages to escape with their lives. Apart from these ones, who are just chilling on top of a rock for some apparent reason. We have a small drop over here by Nerchio's, I don't know, what is that, his 5th base. We have another attack going on at Nerchio's 4th with a couple of infestors. We even have drones mixed into the army of Nerchio. He is in quite a tight spot supply-wise. He is quite far behind. If we look at the army tab, he's ahead in workers, but quite far behind in army. But even so, LiquidTaeja's supply is plummeting now. We have a couple of Ultralisks out on the field. We will soon have 3-3 finishing, as well as Chitness Plating, or Chitinous Plating, or however you wish to say it. We will soon have maximum upgrades for these Ultralisks to tear everything apart. And with the lack of Marauders, these things can do quite a bit of damage. We have 4 more Ultralisks on the way, but we also have a bit of Marauder production as well. And that Marauder is very, very, very dead to the massive Zerglings. A couple of Marines are going to get chewed alive. by this Ultralisk. He's just mincing them up, just smashing and smashing and smashing, turning them into some sort of marine gravy. Ugh, that sounds disgusting. But hey, they're Zerg. They're meant to be weird and kind of gross. Still have an attack going on for Nerchio, and it looks like it's going to be some kind of base trade attack. TvZ's going for it. He is sieging up. He is attacking everything. We have an Ultralisk now. Might be able to take out one siege tank. We have a fungal. More siege tanks may go down, but instead this Ultralisk is currently picking off a whole bunch of marines. He might see a fungal. Does this energy doesn't even have enough energy for a fungal. We have another Ultralisk over here just picking out everything. One queen is trying to fight off as well, and it looks like he's dead. We have 22 Zerglings on the way now. And it looks like Nerchio is going to lose this base, while we have an Ultralisk picking off this mineral line over here. It looks like he will get destroyed as well, and it looks like Nerchio is going to lose this base trade unless he can clean up what's left of TvZ's army, because TvZ's managed to clean him out. Apart from that lonely Ultralisk. Whole bunch of mules heading their way back home. We have a single Zergling just picking away at that siege tank, and now I am lagging for some apparent reason. I don't know. That Zergling must have been quite important to my computer, because it had a moment of sorrow at the death of that Zergling. And the siege tank. Maybe it was the siege tank. Maybe I'm all wrong. We have another siege tank getting picked off. It is now dead, and another siege tank is now dead as well. GG, well played from AcerNerchio. LiquidTaeja has won the game. With style! I hope you enjoyed. Cheerio.